victims of prostitution and sex slavery. Think about it. How many cases have you heard when guys were taken away from their homes and put into houses for sex slavery or prostitution for homosexuals? Not a lot, don't you think? According to the online article, Male Victims of Sex Trafficking, published in May 2011, it states that in 2006, the U.S. State Department notified that 6% of human trafficking were males. By 2009, it rose to 45%. Today, I'll be talking about a silent and dangerous problem that men face today, which is male sex trafficking. Along with the different causes that help construct this problem, and lastly, the solutions we could take to prevent this problem from getting bigger and spreading around the world. It is a common thing to hear that women are victims of prostitution and sex slavery, but not a lot of cases have been, it's rarely when we hear cases when men are being sold for prostitution. The government, along with our government, along with other democratic governments, know about this problem, but the thing is that they ignore the fact that this issue is going on. According to the United Nations Global Initiative to Fight Human Trafficking, it states that although women and girls are usually characterized as a typical victims of victims of this type of abuse, researchers found that in 20 Honduran cities, 1,019 minors, which all were accused of sex trafficking, 42 of them were males. And out of those 42 males, all of them confess that gay men will come to those houses and have anal and oral sex with them. Many of these victims have no choice but to perform actually the duties that they are told, in order to be fed or to just not get beaten. So the cause of this problem leads to a bigger and sinister problem, which is that men have no choice but to obey. The government knows about this problem, but simply it doesn't do anything about it to stop it. The cause of this problem comes from a lack of information given to the people, which we are. According to the article Male Victims of Sex Trafficking, published by Toysolder.com in May 2011, it states that most of the male victims do not report their abuse. This lack of information actually makes them more vulnerable to this kind of abuse, because not a lot of people know about it, and makes it invincible. And the lack of information makes male victims invincible, and quite often what cannot be seen is treated as if it does not exist. A lot of men around the U.S. and around the world are ashamed of coming forward and telling what they have been through, the experience they have gone through. So many of them don't know what to do, and they actually stay away from the truth, and that's why the government doesn't do anything about it. Kenneth Wolf, a spokesman of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, certifies that victims of sex trafficking reached 17% in 2008, and she fears it will continue to go up until this day if nothing is done. We need to find ways to reveal the problem to the people, because we are entitled to know the information that is out there, especially for men, who are the main cause of this. According to the article, U.S. Government Domestic and Anti-Trafficking Efforts, published by the U.S. Department of State in 2009, it states that approximately $23 million was spent on federal agencies and other domestic programs to boost anti-trafficking law enforcement efforts, identify and protect victims from trafficking, and raise awareness of trafficking and the means to preventing new incidents. What we as individuals could do is contact our congressperson and tell them to pass a bill that demands the federal government to give more funding to open more services for males who have become victims of this sex trafficking. Marisa Conde Vasquez, a special agent in the Hudson FBI who specializes in human trafficking cases, said that it has been increased locally in the number of male human trafficking victims, primarily from Central and South American. Locally, we need to rise up and protest all over California and proclaim that not only women are being abused of this abusement, but also men. And especially, we need to tell all Central and South Americans that they're the ones that they're most vulnerable, because they're the ones especially Central America and South Americans, who are at a higher risk than any other ethnicity. As individuals, we could actually hold meetings in our neighborhoods and our community to aware the community in our neighborhoods about this problem that is going on. And there's kinds of ways to notify the people about this. And there's other ways to prevent them for human sex trafficking to stop. And also, we could also give tips how to identify a victim who is of human sex trafficking by looking at the victims who exhibit bruises and other kind of physical trauma, withdrawal behavior or depression or fear, lack of control over their identity or any kind of information given to them. It is hungry or inappropriately dressed, based on weather conditions or surroundings. Shows signs of a drug addiction. These are the signs that shows victims who have, like male victims who have been of sex trafficking. If we are able to inform this issue to the people, we have a high chance to prevent this from continuing. Today, we have learned the problem that many men face around the world, which is male sex trafficking, along with the causes which are the lack of information given by the government and the lack of information we individuals have and do not do. And also the solutions to stop the male prostitution that goes around our country. The minute a man is taken away from their home, and he is beaten, humiliated, and in order to bring fear into their life. Fear is what controls them, and fear is what they are guided by. Because once they are taken to these places, they have no choice but to obey orders given to them. There are many ways we are able to prevent this problem. So there's many ways to approach this situation, but we have to work together. We have the power to eliminate this problem, but we have to work together, not as individuals, but as a whole nation, as the Constitution says, we the people of the United States. We need to work together and eliminate this problem once and for all.